We got Ray Cooper back here on the program who's going to be fighting in this upcoming PFL welterweight tournament. Ray, how are you, man?
I'm good. Just finished training.
Excellent. Well, let's talk about last year. 5 fights. You were in the tournament. I think you were one of the biggest stories last year in terms of the run you went on. Is it weird now having had some time off and being able to reflect back on last season?
Nah, I just wanted to get back home and rest my body and just spend time with my family since this long season. It was a really grueling season, and it was fun.
When did you actually get back to training?
Probably last month I started training again. Getting back in shape. My brother's gonna fight in April, so we was getting him ready. So I'm back in the gym, getting ready for it. I think our next fight is in May, so
That's
it's
right.
right around the corner.
Yeah, no, it's going to be coming up here before we know it. Just looking back on last year, you had an undefeated run up until the finals, and of course you're coming off a loss. What did you take away from that fight? Because I know you've had some time now to kind of digest, the performance and everything else.
Yeah, I made one little mistake and it cost me everything. But all in all, it was an amazing season. I was so thankful to be a part of it, and fighting that much times in a year or within 6 months, it's crazy. And I liked it. I liked being active, and it was awesome. But I'm gonna do the same thing I did this last season. I'm gonna fight my way back up and get back to the finals and right my wrong.
I remember when we spoke last year, you mentioned about maybe moving up a weight class to go compete in another tournament, but they got rid of the middleweights. Unfortunately, were you a little bummed out to see that?
Yeah, I know. Because I guess the middleweight champion is coming down to 170, so that's a big. So that's one of the top guys in middleweight, and he's coming down to 70, and our weight division is looking stacked as it is already. So, yeah, I'm just excited to fight again and work my way back up to the finals.
And of course, the big news since the last time you and I talked was ESPN's now coming to the fold. They're going to be airing all your fights. How excited were you when you found out that news?
I was blown away by it because from last season we was just on starting organization. Now we're in the top of the top. We're right next to the UFC, and we're only gonna get bigger.
Yeah.
This tournament style, I think that if the fans want to see it, and we're a sports driven company now, and we're just like the NFL. We got postseason, then championships. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it is pretty unique in what's happening in MMA right now because, with the UFC, there's no off season. With this, it's very structured. And again, it's not based off who can talk the most or whatever. It's all based on a tournament, which I really like. Did you find that once they announced that ESPN deal that you had, sponsors reaching out to you a little bit more because that's a huge platform?
No, not really.
Okay.
Like I'm really secluded. I don't really go on social media that much. And the PFL gets on me about that, but yeah, no, I didn't really get no sponsors. I have my same sponsors, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Fair enough. Well, you do a lot of media, and I mean, we've done, I think, interviews before every one of your fights, so I do have to thank you for that because I know it's not the most fun thing to do, but I definitely appreciate it. What about fighters? Have you had like teammates or other fighters reach out to you and say, "Hey, man, this PFL thing looks really good." Have you noticed that recently, just because of what's happened with the ESPN deal and everything else?
No, not really.
Okay.
I really don't have any other training guys. I just train my brothers and a couple of my friends, but that's pretty much it.
You mentioned fighting in May. I don't know if you have an opponent booked yet or not, but do you know when they're going to announce all that soon? Have they given you an idea?
No, not yet. They didn't give me no idea. I think they're still coming up with the roster. They didn't disclose the whole roster yet, so. I think once they get down to it, that should be happening in about a couple of weeks because the fight's coming up and the guys need to know who they're fighting. So, yeah, I really don't know yet, but I want to bring whoever. I would like that Russian first, but
Right.
I don't think they're gonna give him to me yet. They're gonna see it to the ending.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, is there any preference? You mentioned Lewis Taylor. I mean, he's the former middleweight champion. I guess I know you'll fight anyone, but I'm sure in your head you'd probably, if I had to guess, top of the list, would be Magomed Kurmatov, who you lost to, and then probably Lewis Taylor after that. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I really want to get him out of the way first, or get him off first, so we can fight during the season. Because I feel like I was winning that fight up until that part where I left my neck out, and trying to take him down, left my neck out, and he was going for guillotine this whole season. It just slipped my mind, and I left my neck out too much, and he capitalized on it. And congrats to him, and I was looking forward to this next season and competing and running through everybody again, getting back to the finals.
Are you hoping that you don't have to fight Jake Shields again? Because I think that chapter's been pretty much closed. You beat him twice decisively. Is that something you're kind of just to have some different opponents?
Yeah, if I'll fight him again, I'll fight anybody again. But I don't think Jake Shields is in the tournament. I don't know yet, but it didn't seem like he was interested in fighting that much times. It was really hard on his body, I guess, because they had to cut. Plenty guys had to cut weight, and within that 6 weeks, they was really dying, and I was walking around already like 80, so it wasn't a problem for me to cut weight. And all those big guys was kind of, and he's a big guy. He's not a small guy, so
He used to fight. He fought at middleweight before, right? So
yeah, so he was cutting a lot of weight, and I think that was taking a toll on his body to cut weight that fast.
I know you didn't win the $1 million, but you did probably rack up some decent amount of money last year just with how much you fought. Did you put any money? What would you do with some of the money you won? I'm sure paying bills and things like that. But did you get to spend any of it on any kind of things that were meant a lot to you?
Yeah, this is the most money I ever made in my entire fighting career, so I was really blessed and thankful. Yeah, I just paid the bills, took care of my family. I took care of my family. That's the most important thing. To me, that was so. That's pretty much it. And I invested a little bit of it, and looking forward to this next season to get back to the finals and win the whole thing.
Yeah, and rack up even more money. What was that moment like, being able to give your family some money? Because I know fighting, it's not the most lucrative job in terms of paying, but like you said, you made the most you've made in your career. What was that moment like, being able to say, "Hey, here's some money. Hopefully, this takes care of things."
It was awesome just to repay my parents back for all they did for me and throughout my high school career, just raising me and my brothers, six of us. So I just wanted to really give back to my mom and my dad and take care of them so they don't have to work anymore. And it's real hard to live in Hawaii. And, it's very expensive over here, but it's the price you pay to live in paradise. So, but it was awesome to take care of my family, and I'm gonna keep doing it.
And we're looking forward to your return, Ray. It's coming up here in May. We're really looking forward to it. Just remind people, I know you're not active on social media, but I believe you do have an Instagram account. So if you want to plug that, and if you got anyone else you want to thank or any sponsors or anything, the floor is yours, man.
Yeah, just on Instagram at Ray Cooper the third, and thank you to my sponsors, Hawaii's Finest, Paulele, thank you, ba, and my mom and my dad, and my wife. Thanks, James.